let's get started. Welcome to your first tribal council as a merged tribe. Hi, Chatty Patty. I'm going to turn off your video.
I was about to be like, hi, Patty.
I liked her. I thought she should have stayed.
She is one of our more vocal fans in response to almost every Insta story. We really appreciate her.
Oh my God.
Yes. So you guys all know the flow of this. I'm going to ask some questions. We're going to talk for a bit, and then it will be time to vote. When it is time to vote, you will Slack me directly with who you'd like to vote for. So to begin with, I'm going to ask Brittany. So, we've officially merged. How did it feel when we announced the merge?
Well, like the day of the merge, I was convinced there was going to be a merge, and then there wasn't. So I was like, maybe not. And then you were like, surprise. So it was exciting because you get to move into a new stage of the game. But now it was nice only having to deal with talking to like 2 or 3 people because I could get a lot done. But now I have 11 other people to communicate with. And so I don't feel like I can get anything done now because it's just there's so many options to talk to.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing that you bring up. So for Laura, I want to ask you this, like, it is on one hand very exciting that you've now made this merge and you don't have to rely on tribe mates as much to win a challenge. However, there are now 11 people you have to speak with instead of just the original 8 people you had to speak with when you were on your tribe. Does this feel more difficult to you, or does it feel exciting that you're now exposed to all these different people?
It's both. I mean, I think it was the easiest when it was just got down to 4 red people on that. We had a really good time that night, and and then that was all thrown out the window. But it's very stressful. It's hard when I don't know any blue players. I never got mixed with any blue players. So this is hard, and you're not only beating 2 other teams for immunity, you're trying to beat 10 other or 11 other people for immunity. So it's
Sure.
It's a lot of stuff to balance.
And so Ben, I want to ask you, you're part of the original Coratonga. There's only 4 of you. Did that make you feel nervous, or were you kind of like, okay, it's not the worst position because eventually Koviasa people will have to turn on themselves and I can be a vote for them. We can be a vote for them.
I feel like there are so many relationships, and if we were to draw a diagram, there would be so many circles. The Venn diagram would be absolutely crazy. There's Coratonga Koviasa. There's new Coratonga, new Koviasa, and Pandara. There's relationships made between those and outside of those. Ashley just came back in the game after being gone for quite a long while. Like, there's so much at play that I think we're all considering things more than just our original tribes. But of course, we have made relationships, and some of the relationships we made early on carry through. So I think we're all thinking of everything, and I think we're all trying to be as open to people as possible. And sometimes it's just hard to, I probably should draw a diagram because it's hard to keep it all in my head.
It is hard. So Dylan, I want to ask you, you were on the original.
Why did I get yogurt in my mouth? Thank you.
I didn't tell you to snack and tribal at the same time.
Listen. All right, I'm ready.
You were part of that original Koviasa tribe, which proved to be somewhat of it was a dramatic tribal, right? How did it feel to you kind of reuniting with some of those old tribe members where you were on the outs for that vote?
Yeah, I mean, there's just, I can't remember who said it, but 11 of us, now 12 of us, it's kind of overwhelming. So like Ben said, you're just trying to figure out relationships, what makes the most sense, like numbers, where are they? I mean, it's hard not to feel like everyone's existence in this game is just like totally threatened. But yeah, I don't know. It was kind of overwhelming. So I just kind of sat back and, grabbed my yogurt and just started watching stuff.
And so Ashley, I want to ask you, you know, first of all, congratulations. You outlasted all the survivors playing yesterday in that balance challenge. It was very, very impressive. How did you feel coming back? I mean, you were the first one voted out. So you have been left out of a lot of the game. But now you're also back, and a majority of the people in this merged tribe are your original tribe members.
Yeah, I mean, when I got voted out, I very much leaned out of the game mindset. So I was almost shocked when I won, like, oh, here we go again, you know? And so, yeah, it took a minute to just, like, get ready to, like, you know, get back in the game. But I don't know, I feel like coming into it now, it's like a fresh start. Like you said, I don't have so much has happened and I haven't been aware of it. So I don't really have anything to offer in a sense. Like, it's kind of just like starting from scratch, which I'm kind of just trying to be more intentional and just take it like step by step. I don't know. I think I'm still like
processing,
coming back from realizing I'm back in.
So Myers, I want to ask you, how does it feel hearing Ashley say that? Because, you know, you were on the tribe where she got voted out, so it could be scary for her to come back. But on the other hand, she's been gone for so long. Each tribal is a new tribal. Each day is a new day. You know.
I actually really resonate with what Ashley was just saying, like being more intentional, taking time a little bit more. I think that something that everyone on Coviasa, every original member has in common is that we learned a lot, like how to play this game. I don't think it's any secret to anyone sitting in this tribal or watching that we were playing fast, hard, and sloppy, and we weren't having fun. So my hope moving forward is that we can all have a little more fun and maybe slow down just a skosh.
Sure. Okay. That's an interesting answer. You want us all to slow down in this game of Survivor. Noted. So Cody, you know, you won individual immunity as well yesterday. So you have the invisible necklace around your neck right now. How important did it feel to you as one of the original Coratonga tribe members to win yesterday and to be safe in this first tribal versus you won the first one, you put an immediate target on your back as you are a challenge winner threat?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm somewhat distracted by that right now because I'm not sure if it's Roger's lack of mustache or Ben wearing a shirt, but both of those are throwing me off quite a bit. I think that, yeah, I thought about that. It was like, do I want to win a challenge and become a threat in some capacity? But what I know about there we go.
Better, Cody?
All right, so I can relax. What I know about this game is that not everything is going to be physical, and that's good. So I thought, all right, I'll try to do well in this part. I'm going to try to do well in all the other parts of it as well. But like, that's, I think maybe my favorite thing about this is that you can have a perceived like strength in certain ways, and that does not carry you through if you don't try to work with everybody in every capacity.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm thankful to be here right now. A lot of crazy things happening today and not really sure where it's going, but
Mary, how does it feel to hear Cody say a lot of crazy things happening? Is this not going to be a tame, straightforward first vote?
I mean, I understand what he's saying just because it is, you know, we all just came together and it's there's a little bit of a chaotic feeling, I think, until the first vote happens. So I feel secure-ish, but it's also, you know, it's Survivor, so you never know. But I was thinking about, like, I think the quarantine is the perfect metaphor for this merging of tribes, because it's almost like we've all been sort of quarantined in our own ways, and we've made our homes feel like safe places and places we like to be. And now all of a sudden all the doors to the outside are open and you can go outside, but it's scary out there. You want to like stay safe. So yeah. Anyway, I was just like, oh, well, Probst loves metaphors. I should probably bring that to the table.
Thank you. Lindsay, off of that, like, did you feel overwhelmed by it? Look at, there are so many exciting different options, different ways we can go. Or was it like, oh God, there are so many different ways we can go. How do we corral this big group of people into making a vote happen tonight?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely been overwhelming, but I think what Mary was saying too, like, just kind of take every day at a time, and like everything's changing constantly and not changing constantly at the same time. Like, you don't really know what's happening. And like being quarantined, it makes this a little harder. Like it makes me really wish I was on an island with everybody, so that like, you know, you could establish those relationships a little bit differently, or like see what relationships are forming. But I feel like if you feel safe, that's when it's you going home.
So Rogers, I want to talk to you about the challenge yesterday. You know, you were you weren't one of the first ones out, but once you were out, you chose to remain in the games, shall we say. You chose to still vocally be a part of the game. Was that a choice to still kind of be this presence in the challenge? Or was that just like, I'm just going to have a fun time and be there?
That's my personality. I do like to have fun with this. I honestly, I like to engage with the people that are commenting in, and I have been having fun with the game. I think it's pretty clear that, I don't know. I think it's pretty clear that there's people in the game right now who are targeting me. I do think that what Myers just said about we weren't having fun and we should have more fun, I do think that's like a dog whistle to vote for me, because I think I was a little misunderstood after that move.
What did you misunderstand about you for that move?
That it was kind of me running the show with that whole thing, and that I think that there was like a perception that they created about me that I was bossy. Maybe my personality is that I do a lot. Maybe I do come on a little bit strong, but I don't think I was being bossy or ruining anyone's fun. I think that is a way that some people in the game can shift focus from themselves to me, because they see I already naturally attract a lot of attention. So I hope that you know, people are smarter than that and can just focus on the real threats in the game, which are, I think, making themselves pretty evident.
Sure.
But then again, I'm not super worried about myself, because I've taken care of myself. And I would say that...
Well, you also said you have an idol.
I didn't tell you that, but since you'd like to announce it to everyone, let's just say that day one on the Pandora Beach, I took care of myself. And I guess I'll be seeing today, with how the votes come in, who in my many alliances are actually with me or actually against me, because they will have to deal with me tomorrow. So they can do whatever they want to do. I'm still down to have fun in the game. I think I've been fun, but whatever.
So Kat, when you hear Rogers talk about that, I mean, definitely, I don't think I'm taking liberty when I say this, Rogers, but you have chosen to like be more personality driven, like in this game. You've let us see it. And so Kat, how do you balance that with like, okay, well, he's shown a lot of himself, which could be a good target, but also he's an easy target. And do you really want out the easy target this early on? Like how far are you thinking? Is it just like, let's do the easy votes to make it all the way there? Or are you still like playing as hard as you can each tribal?
I don't, that's like a really complicated question. I don't think there's ever, I don't know, I struggle with like easy target, because I think that everyone's a target in a different way. And I don't think that personality alone like pins you as a target. I think how you interact with others and how you like, you know, show that personality. Like, you know, Matt is a loud person and he is very much himself. And I don't think that that makes him a target. I think that we all are bringing to the table like who we are, and some people want to work with that and some people don't. And it's just So to answer your question, I think you always have to be thinking long term, but it's also important to take stock every challenge and every tribal, and I think that's where the constant evolving and changing really comes into play.
Sure. So Brittany, how much does what gets said in tribal impact your vote, if at all?
I don't know, because I feel like I came into tribal with an idea of what was kind of happening, but you never know who's having what conversations with other people. But we're all probably really good at just saying stuff to just say stuff. So I really don't know. I mean, I don't know if a lot of it is just saying it to make someone do something, or if you're saying it because it's true. I mean, I don't know. You can't take anything in this game and think a solid. You always have to think, is it this or is it this? And then you find out tomorrow.
So Ben, you were one of the people who, when I was going to mute Matt Rogers, and then you were like, no, let him speak, let him continue, which you were totally valid. In Real Survivor, the contestants would still be able to engage. You were 100% correct. But was that just you trying to be a Survivor purist, or was that you trying to let Rogers just like continue to speak and be able to like show, what he wants to say and that sort of thing?
I'll be honest, it had nothing to do with Rogers himself. Anyone who knows me knows I have an unusual brain. And if I'm focusing only on one thing, it can wander and I can lose it. And I was the one who probably had the most near falls of anyone here. And those near falls were all when it was perfectly quiet and I just had to focus with my eyes on the book. So by being able to distract that like wandering part of my brain with conversation, it actually helped me focus. And I think I dropped it in one of those moments of quiet. So for me, it was actually like realizing, oh, I'm doing better passing the time by having Matt Rogers talk, because no one else really was. And, Kelsey, I engaged a little bit with you, and I occasionally asked, Cody and Myers how they were doing. And that wasn't gameplay. That was because I needed to lock back in by engaging in something else. I don't know, do we have a psychologist in the group? I don't think so, but like that's sort of how I work.
Okay, so Dylan.
Can I speak to that?
Oh yeah, please
so
go
like
ahead.
I would have said the same thing Ben said, like let him speak. Like he's still in the game. If he knows something will make somebody laugh, like do it. What was gameplay for me? Because I knew I was focused. Like if he can make somebody else drop their book, if he can make Ben drop his book since he's been shaking, I love that. Like let it go.
To be real, I would feel like shit if something that I did made someone lose an immunity challenge. That is not the way I play. I just legitimately did not think that anything I said was going to make them buck. Had one of them had their book knocked over because of something I said, I would have felt like shit. I can't always control myself.
I think you were just filling the silence, which I appreciated because I wanted music or something. So I mean.
Because also another thing is like, it should be fun. This is for fun.
I don't think you did anything wrong in that. So I liked it.
He was also just educating us all on Quibi. Guys, like we really can all.
Which you can get now. And honestly, in the tribal council, we could have watched at least 4 episodes of my
Shoot, I just accidentally turned on my Spotify, which was still out from yesterday. Okay, sorry. Hold on.
God bless you.
I'm sorry.
Now she plays the music.
Sorry, on my Spotify. Sorry, it was still playing from yesterday. Dylan, I want to ask you, we've merged, which is very exciting, but it's 12 people. How important is it for you to think about who you want to be sitting with near the end versus just like making it to the next tribal?
I'm not thinking about that at all. Just not. You can't.
Are people having those conversations at all or no?
I would be shocked if they were, because I think you never know who's going to win challenges. You never know who's going to play immunity items. I'm sure some people have an idea of who they would like to sit next to, but if they're like, oh, I'm going to play to get with these two this early on, I just think you might be setting yourself up for failure, because you just never know which way it's going to zig and zag.
Sure. So Maddie, I had a question. Now I forgot. I'm sorry. Dang it.
What are you attracted to on Survivor?
The hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, and I mean the whole.
I was sorry. I remember what I was going to ask. So the last time we had a tribal, it was your tribe that went. And one of the reasons why that tribe went to council was because of your performance in that challenge. And so yesterday for the book challenge, again, Dylan, were you the first one out yesterday?
Yeah, 2.5 minutes. I went and rewatched.
Okay, so Dylan was the first one out. You definitely weren't the first one out. But is that part of your game, is to kind of just be maybe not that aggressive, super, front runner that puts a big target on the back, but also like not the first one out. So it seems like and I'm not implying this, Dylan, but like that seems like you're trying to throw it or anything like that. Oh. I'm not implying that.
No, it's not part of my game. But I was happy with how it went yesterday with the book challenge, because I was kind of right in the middle. And that was great. I was happy that I wasn't the first one to drop, but I wasn't, it was somewhere in the middle, and that was fine with me. And I kind of going back to what Cody said earlier, it is important to think about things like that, because you think you perceive people one way based on challenges, but the social aspect of things is really important, and we can't forget that. So I think it's not, my tactic to throw things. I definitely feel like there was a lot of pressure when we were working in tribes in those challenges.
Yeah.
And I got very nervous ahead of each one. And I think now that we're working individually, maybe the emotional pressure is a little bit less, because it's just me, so maybe that's actually why I did okay with the books, and maybe I'll continue to improve. We'll see. But it really just depends on what the challenge is. I have to take it day by day. And like Dylan was saying, you can't think too far ahead, or else you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. Like, you have to just go one by one.
Sure. So Laura, we're this far in, and we've only really seen one advantage and one idol played. Do you feel nervous at all that there are more out there and that they could be played?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there are more out there. We know that.
Do you factor that in at all into your plans?
100%. I mean, you have to be crazy if you don't. Like, if they're out there, no one wants to go home. No one wants to go home with an idol in their pocket. I know that. I'm not a huge Survivor fan, but I know that much. And so 100%, you've got to think about that and the different scenarios that could happen.
Sure. So Lindsay, I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you feel, because you've now been exposed to original Koviasa people and also Koratonga people, so do you also feel that nervousness of like, I know there's more idols and advantages out there, or do you feel like you know who has what?
I mean, I think you sometimes know who has what. I do think that if somebody tells you about it, like, you should keep it to yourself if they're in your alliance. I kind of, going off of what I think it was Dylan and Maddie said, like, I kind of disagree with them a little bit. Like, I don't think you should say, like, okay, like, I know for sure I'm going to be sitting next to these people at the end, but I do think that that's part of having an alliance, is you have to trust who you're working with, and you build that over time, and you build it quickly with some people, and you build it over time with other people. And I think if you know who has what, you can factor that in. But there are people who are going to be blindsided, have been blindsided, might go home with an idol in their pocket. So it's definitely a factor, but I don't think it's the only thing to consider.
Sure. So Mary, you are one of the original Koratonga tribe, and you've also gotten to play with Koviasa members. They were on your new Pandara tribe, same as Cody and Ben also got that. Do you feel like that helped you to kind of get more of a lay of the land on the dynamics on the old Koviasa tribe and like know what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there was, I think also with Pandara, we had a little winning streak there that I think really bonded us together. I was so proud of our performance in a lot of these challenges. And so I really felt connected to Lindsay and Matt. yeah, there was for sure you watch that first tribal at Kobayasa and you're like, okay, something's happening over there. And then when you are on a tribe with some of those people and you work with them so intimately, you do get a sense of, you know, how they see things. And that is that's great information to, you know, continue to like make decisions off of. But yeah, it was crazy being so mixed so perfectly with half and half.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Myers, you know, I want to ask you kind of off of that, because you and Brittany also got the chance to, you know, be on a new tribe with different tribe members. How much of that was also like, is there any element of that where you join a new tribe that you also get to kind of control the narrative of what the previous tribe dynamics were for your old tribe?
I think a good example of this happening is with Adam, who was at a 4-1 disadvantage on Kobayasa after the swap. I think he had that tribe convinced that he was on the outs until our tribal council, which was an hour before. I think he was able to control the narrative because he worked with someone he trusted himself. Brittany and I were at a 2-3 swap disadvantage, and we made it through by the skin of our teeth. As far as any control of the narrative goes, I think we didn't have to go to another tribal again until now at the merge. And anything that we say, they're already talking to the rest of our old tribe. So I don't think so.
So Brittany, you were, you know, with Myers on that Coratonga tribe, and did you, you know, that was also a big tribal. There were two items played, and one of them was for sure, we know, played by you. You played the idol. Did that make you feel nervous, or did that, because what am I trying to say? How much of that made you feel nervous that people now knew you had found an idol versus like maybe if you had shared with people that you had it, you were proving like, hey, I was true to my word. I did have this thing. Look at me playing it, that sort of thing.
I think what's scary about having an idol and playing an idol is that I was nervous about like what the repercussions would be afterwards. So if I had not told someone I had an idol and then I played it, like would they still trust me afterwards? Because ultimately, all we know is what we're dealing with now. And I knew what I needed to do to survive that day. And I, you know, whatever happened that day, I would just factor it into the next day and see what goes. But it does also kind of get intimidating because, you know, every conversation I had with people when we merged, it was about how great our tribal council was, which it was a good tribal council, but like anybody would have done the same thing if they were in the bottom of the numbers and they had these tools to use. They would have done exactly the same thing. So
sure. So Ashley, I want to ask you about that because something that
Sorry.
Something I wanted to ask you, Ashley, is like, you know, a Survivor theme that we often see is like when you're on the bottom, you're actually very valuable because you can be a for sure vote, right? Like you will give someone your word. Do you feel like, I mean, you're wearing a necklace, so you're not going home tonight, but do you feel kind of in that position where you're like, I haven't been building relationships. I've been gone for so long. And people like, are people really wanting to work with you? Or are you just like, shoot, like I've kind of, you know, I've been out of touch. What do I want to do? Like, what was your game plan and when you were coming back in?
I mean, I think that all I have to really gain in an alliance is a vote right now. I don't have any information to share, like I said. And so it's kind of like my most valuable asset. Or just like keep holding books for hours. I don't know in the future. So I think I'm was down and then reassess. Being out back like before even the I just like I don't know the inner workings of what people have gone through, and so it's an interesting thing to navigate.
Yeah, you can't entirely know whether like who you can trust what they're saying about what's been going on, or even maybe the original vote that got you out. Okay, so unless anyone else has anything they'd like to add, it is now time to vote. When I say your name, you'll Slack me directly with who you'd like to vote for. I'm going to begin with Laura. Please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Maddie, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Lindsay, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Brittany, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Ben, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Kat, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Ashley, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Dylan, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Mary, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Myers, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Rogers, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. Cody, please Slack me who you'd like to vote for. I'm going to count the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and you'd like to play it, now would be the time.
Yes, Kelsey. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. Can everyone please hold out their phones and turn their flashlights on? Once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person will be asked to leave the tribal council area immediately. First vote, Rogers. Second vote, Rogers. That's 2 vote Rogers. Third vote, Laura. That's 1 vote Laura. Fourth vote, Rogers. That's 3 for Rogers, 1 for Laura. Next vote, Laura. That's 3 for Rogers, 2 for Laura. Laura. That's 3 for Rogers, 3 for Laura. Rogers. 4 for Rogers, 3 for Laura. Laura. That's 4 for Rogers, 4 for Laura. Fifth vote, Rogers. That's 5 for Rogers, 4 for Laura. Next vote, Rogers. That's 6 for Rogers, 4 for Laura. Next person voted out is Matt Rogers.
Of course.
Is there anything you'd like to say before going, Matt?
Yeah, great personal exercise for sure. But the main thing I want to say is if anything was gained out of this, it was that I met you, Kelsey. You are incredible. The way that you're producing this is so fun. You have such a future doing whatever you want to do. This was such a blast for everyone. I definitely learned a lot about myself and truly hope that we can leave everything in the past. It's been really fun getting to know everyone as little avatars, but I look forward to getting to know everyone as people, and I promise I'm a sweetheart.
Thank you for joining us, Matt Rogers. The tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go. Everybody else, grab your stuff, head back to camp. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.